to Not Good Enough Comics and Dragons with, your hosts, me and Bree, and a wonderful guest, Gray, that I kind of stole.
Stop.
Killing people.
Today...
Being kidnapped and I'm trapped in this basement.
Hey, I did not trap you in the basement. I don't know what you're talking about.
We followed a trail to a box held up with a stick.
Ooh, a piece of candy. Ooh, a piece of candy. Anyways, so today we are talking about one of my favorite image books of, I think it came out last year. Fairlady.
Image book?
Okay, so there are, multiple comic companies. Image is mostly indie, in which they pay for their distributing and all of that. So, yeah. Image is... I feel like people that make image books don't make money. But that's a whole different topic for a whole different podcast. We're going to be talking about Fairlady, which is an amazing book.
Is it based off Pygmalion?
It is not based off of Pygmalion.
Well, because the other one is.
So Fairlady is a 5-issue miniseries. For some reason, I only have 3 of them. I don't know why. I have all 5. I just don't know where the other 2 are. And as established in the last episode, I love it when comic creators make maps for their D&D inspired comic books so people can actually play them. And at the beginning of every issue of Fairlady is a map.
Fun.
Yep, it's very D&D.
So, these books are about a Fairlady, which is basically a private investigator in this world, and her partner, which is a cat man, and I instantly thought Mumford because he has himbo energy. So, it is literally, the entire country is called the Feld, and the country is the dead body of what looks to be a god. It's a population of 10,191 people. I love it. And it says left hand east for each of the... it has the locations for each of the cities, and it starts off with our main character, if I can remember her name.
Fairlady.
So, it also has this little blurb of, the summary of the world. In the aftermath of the War of the Harshland, there was no longer a need for a standing army. This country doesn't have an army. How do they function?
At first I thought you were going to just say stabbing, and I was like, yeah, that's pretty universal to any country, I think.
Yes, it is. Definitely is a thing. Authentic.
And I love this.
Nope.
I love this book so much, mostly because each issue is a standalone story. So it just all it has is the main character Jenner and her cat man. Just doing missions, and it's amazing. The first issue, it has them looking for, I believe, a prince of some sort. And I'm gonna do better with this comic of putting up the images. The first image, one of the first splash pages of the comic is Jenner investigating a room, and it has all the clues she notices when she first enters the room.
Pulling this comic up,
The
even though I read it.
the by the way, writer is give me a second, Brian Schirmer, and it's illustrated by Claudia Balboni. These are two writers. These are the writer and artist. I have never seen anything by them at all, and they captivated me within the first issue. The world they created with this is just fucking beautiful.
They needed a push from they actually got from his production got a push from Jim Zub because they were new writers like too.
Like, when, cause, when I was going for comic books the day I bought this, I literally saw, that is a cat man with just a human lady.
Yep.
That is all that is. And I'm like, fuck it, I'll buy this. And it's one of the best books that came out that year. God, when did this come out?
When did it come out?
Okay, April 2019. You had a question, Gray.
And no, I just wanted to do a little bit of art talk because I was looking at some of the pages.
Oh, yeah.
And I used to try paneling, even though I'm not good at it a bunch. So first of all, I think Claudia Balboni's paneling is very neat, and the best part about it is how she does shadows and limited color palettes. I think that's very pretty and makes it just is she's really good at drawing your eye to what you need to draw it to, and I love that.
Oh my god, yeah, it's...
I also love her use of purple. She uses it a lot.
She does use it a lot. She uses purple a lot. And I don't know if it symbolizes... Because I do notice that she uses purple mostly when Jenner is in front of royalty. So I'm guessing that's more of a symbolization of, like... The being in the presence of royalty casts a kind of aura to it.
Funky.
But yeah, she does make your eye focus onto what you should be focusing on. My most interesting thing is when she does like the most mundane things, like I can never remember the cat man's name.
No, it's not a number.
Anuf, yes.
Yeah, like
it
that.
just he's just holding a pile of dust, and Cheddar just kind of looks at it, looks away, looks back at it, does a double take, and is like, yeah, that's basically it. I kind of want to show Gray something.
Oh, I have to go.
You conversate while I find this image. These two images.
There's actually a really funny moment in this book that I kind of enjoyed, where she actually she picks up one thing. She's doing like some investigating, and like she does this little thing of dirt, and she like touches it, and then she like tastes it, and like the one was like, how do you know? How did you get all that from tasting it? How do you even know what this type of thing tastes like? It's really like a nice little funny moment. I think I got a few other comedy moments I got in my notes as well.
It does comedy very well. Okay, great. Check out the two images I just sent. Check out the second one first, and then the first one.
Yeah.
One of my...
the cat mask! The cat mask scene.
One of my favorite image is right at the beginning, which caught me immediately, which is Jenner trying to get into this place, and this guy's being like, "We don't need no fair men or fair ladies in here," and then Akun just punches him, And then in the next image, you see the title, and it says and then you just see the guy flying.
Wonderful.
That's just good paneling.
Like,
That is good paneling.
it's...
Yeah.
So, yeah, this was one of my favorite books of 2019. Mostly because it does what I've noticed most comic books don't. Usually, this in like Marvel or DC, the first issue would be 3 issues.
Goodness.
Probably. And what I do love about this is practically no ads.
Even better.
Like, they told a quick, concise story. They established the world you're in very quickly. To the point of, you get it. You get what you're doing. You get what's happening. Almost by the minute of the panel. And also, what I do love, at the end, I think of most of the books, at the end of each of the books, is, first of all, the map of the Feld, which, again, I say, is the body of a dead god. That is some world building. Then there is a welcome letter and all that. There's some letters. And then you get the clientele letters of, like, each case. Like, this one talks about disappearing gold. And then there's a poster of strictly confidential day and night service, licensed and bonded. Fairlady is one of my favorite books of 2019, but also it's just well paneled. It is well drawn.
I'm gonna say it again. I love how she shades. I love how textured it is.
It's so well textured. Like, Akum's fur.
Fluffy.
It's you can see where, like, he might have shaved it to make his muscles look a little bigger. But, like,
Kitty.
He's fluffy and he's a kitty. And Jenner looks like a fucking badass.
I love how swooshy her hair is.
I do love the whole side part undercut thing. I do love it. And the writing is just very consistent, which you don't really see a lot.
No.
Like, even non-comic, like, even in, like, regular reading, you don't see it a lot. You don't see it a lot in comic books. It's well written. It's consistent. It's telling a story in one issue, which I do like. And I honestly wish it didn't get canceled. Like, I feel like
Canceled?
Yeah, it got canceled after 5 issues.
Did they say a slur?
They didn't say a slur. It's just
they weren't.
It's just regular TV canceled.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No Twitter drama here.
No Twitter drama, which, you know what? For any industry, is kind of nice. Oh, I want to I think I want to gush more with Gray about this woman's art.
Please.
Because the shading and the shadows are very well done, but what I do love is the contrast of like the characters being bright and everything else in the room being dark.
Oh my gosh, yes, her backgrounds are so good. I was waiting to say something when the time was right. but her backgrounds are so goddamn nice.
It's, oh my god, it's so pretty. And
I love it.
like the characters their characters are very realistic. Like the human characters are very realistic, which I do like. They have very realistic proportions. They don't seem to have like no organs or anything. They seem almost like if you took this and made it a TV show, it would be. I honestly think if you took this and made it a TV show, it would be awesome.
It would be really cool.
The amount of world building that is in this story, the amount of world building that Claudia does through her art is just amazing. Like, there are little side gags, there's just, it's just so good. They do the one thing I don't like, which is they start at the end for, I think, the first issue.
Oh?
You know when storytellers are like, let's start at the beginning of the action, and then let's go back. You don't. I just think that stories need to be told from when they begin.
Would be nice.
But
we can't all be Megamind.
But it's done
as much as we wanted.
So well. Like, as I go through this comic, kind of trying to look for images and stuff, one of my favorite things, and I would love to incorporate this into a D&D campaign, is the Tower of Ozias Fraught, which is, it has these two crescent-like curves to it, with an orb in the middle, like, emanating some type of energy. I think if the story was to progress any further, we would have seen, like, it would have still gotten to, like, that episodic Monster of the Week type thing. But
Monster of the Week.
But I think, if they didn't get canceled, we would have seen more of this world and kind of seen a bad guy of sorts.
So it did get canceled?
Yes, it got canceled after 5
That
years.
makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
Because I kind of felt like this was a story that you could have told this story for like a lot longer than 5 issues, the way it was set up.
Yeah,
I was like,
honestly, you could have told this story for. You could have taken this as an ongoing series, and I wouldn't have complained. I would have kept buying it.
especially with the ending, like I felt like when the ending came around, I was like, huh.
It ended on such a way that it seemed like a cliffhanger, which I found particularly interesting.
I mean, it's a cliffhanger, but also pretty definitive.
Yeah.
It's kind of complicated, but like if it was like someone told you, like, oh yeah, you got canceled, so you said, well, the only one way this can really go, and then you just say you went it that way.
Honestly, if they had gotten like the regular Image treatment, which is I think 12 issues, I would have bought all 12 issues, and I would have been like, yeah, this makes me happy. This makes me happy. Just seeing this Catman-Do. And did I just make a Catman-Do reference? I mean, joke? Yes, I did.
Catman-Do what?
This Catman punched motherfuckers in the face like a fucking badass.
Oh, so he's a barbarian.
He is a barbarian. She's
Oh! Yeah. I'm sorry, you can go.
She's
Barbarian recognized barbarian.
she's very much, I think, a rogue or at least a fighter. But yes, he is a barbarian through and through. I like how they didn't really use magic in this world. Like, there is some, and you know it exists, but they don't use it. And I find that interesting. So what were you gonna say, Bree?
Oh no, never mind. I just realized where I thought that brain came from, and nothing to do with this. Never mind.
The Catman is a barbarian monk.
Barbarian monk. God, what a combo. When you start as a barbarian, but you're not making the DM upset enough.
Is that your goal, Gray? Is that your goal with Mumford? Just making me angry?
No. Have I made you angry via Mumford?
Actually, no.
Yeah.
But yeah. Honestly, if we could get a Fairlady sequel or Fairlady more or something that gave us more Fairlady, I would jump on that like a fat kid on a Smartie. It would be because I kind of want Brian Schirmer to get or Schirmer to get more work because I think he's an amazing writer. Like, I'm not. I was excited every issue that came out.
I like the world that Fairlady is set in. Definitely, I think the world is pretty interesting, and the way they set everything up
Yeah,
in the
it's
first issue is
and it's
kind of interesting.
world builded in the sense that you if you kind of tried to make a D&D campaign in the Feld, you could. It's kind of like what I said about black sand in white trees last episode with all of that. It's a if it's when it comes to D&D comics, if it is well done, you can find a way, you can have your readers find a way to make their own stories in your world that you've created.
I do like when a world and anything is open enough where people can use their imaginations and create like stories of their own within the world. It doesn't even have to necessarily be a D&D story. It could be like, man, I really love this world. I want to explore this area more. And then they can just do that with
Yeah,
their own writing.
yeah, and I honestly, um, honestly, that's why I get so into indie comics, and by that extension, D&D comics that kind of create their worlds. Um, they set up their worlds so you can kind of imagine yourself in those worlds. Like, honestly, if you are, it's not if you're good enough. If you love the world that you are creating enough, you can allow other people to kind of be in that world, and I do love that. And it's also why I don't see, you don't really see any Marvel or DC D&D comics because it's hard to envision yourself in those worlds without too much hassle, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. A lot of I'm only speaking as someone who's only watched Marvel and superhero movies, but I feel like the worlds in those movies are so dry, and they only come up with things they absolutely have to come up, even if it contradicts something else, which is very frustrating.
It, yeah, that and established worlds are like you can see yourself in Dragon Ball Z, but
What?
for example, or you can see yourself in a Star Wars is actually a better example of a universe that you could basically create your own story, just because the galaxy is so fucking vast that you could probably do something that has never been done in a Star Wars story.
That's why there's a Star Wars D&D.
Yeah, that's
Because it
why
is so
there's
vast, and there's an expanded universe.
SW5E and all that. D&D comics do it so well because, especially indie comics, do it so well just because you get to create that world. And with the Feld, they do it so goddamn well. It's a world that feels lived in, but it's new enough that you can kind of rough it up a bit more. If that makes any sense at all.
Like, that you can add your own little spice and flair to it?
Yeah.
Spicy hot.
Ooh, ouch, don't touch that world, it's hot.
It's hot.
It's very hot, yes.
Watch us get
It's
taken
almost like it's
down.
made of lava or something.
Watch us get taken down by Warner Brothers and Disney.
I was almost gonna threaten Disney, but I'm not brave enough for that, and I wouldn't face those repercussions.
Yeah, don't fight the House of Mouse.
Alright, sorry, Ricky Rat.
um. So
I do, I kind of do. I gotta like chill a little bit though, a little bit for this, cause wait a minute. uh, one sec. That is working. Because like the, I do want to kind of talk about the introduction that is put in there a little bit by Jim Zub, because he does kind of talk about like those things that Fairlady does well in the world of D&D mechanics, and like the way it uses magic, and like how it has like these set rules and everything. I thought that was, and it kind of goes into what you were getting at about like making your own world, and kind of being able to make it very alive. Um, and also having like these fun, snappy characters to kind of go back and forth with each other, even though like obviously in D&D, like everyone's creating the character while you have to create the NPCs, but like just making everything feel real and feel lived in. I guess just kind of going in depth in that.
and I love that Jim Zub. I honestly love that Jim Zub, who is now one of the most prolific writers. uh, Read this book and had was like, "Hey, this is fucking amazing. Can I intro your hardcover, please?" And
Yeah.
like, by the way, before I get into that, the lettering in this book is so goddamn good. Like,
Ooh.
the intro in the aftermath of the War of the Hoshland is so good. Like the fonting and this little image of Jenner like walking a mountain near the Feld is just so good.
Letterers are by David Bowman.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And it's colored by Marissa Louie, Shari Shakama, with Leslie Etlansky. By the way, coloring on point.
Beautiful.
It's
I mean, it looks like a D&D book.
It's fucking beautiful. I need. Bless you.
Bless you.
I need more books to look like this, but I also just need more Fairlady.
Your heart says art style, but your soul says Fairlady.
But your soul says.
And this is gonna be a weird observation, but you don't get a lot in D&D comics, especially. You don't get a lot of female characters like Jenner, who are basically Jessica Jones, but you know, if Jessica Jones had very little trauma.
Well, you see, the thing is, writing women with personalities is really hard because conceiving of such a thing is just impossible.
Right? It's just unfathomable. Women with personalities.
A woman has a personality? That sounds fake.
A woman out of the kitchen with a personality? What the fuck?
Christ.
I will give some criticism on the fact I do kind of want a little bit more about Jenna Doe, like a little bit more like backstory. And we don't get like a whole lot since only 5 issues. I just kind of want a little bit more.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. You don't get a lot of backstory. You don't get a lot of. It doesn't give you the past of this world, and I find that interesting. Yeah. I honestly feel like the reason that they decided not to give any of the world's past, other than that little blurb at the beginning and like the blurb at the beginning of each of the books, it's mostly because they want you to continue or make the story of the past in your own context. Which encouraging D&D like DMs or creators, players, all of that to create more in a world that you've already created is just honestly amazing.
Right, sweet.
I just like when she says, "Let me tell you," when Jenner says, "Let me tell you a story," and it just turns into this childlike drawings of each of what she thinks happened.
Ooh, I love that trope. When someone's imagination is literally just like young children's drawings. Just in general.
Oh, let me show you the reason I think Mumford.
Oh boy. Does he lick something he's not supposed to?
Oh my god. Look at the chat. Yeah, I'll put this up onto the show.
I'm being bullied, but you're right.
He's so nice. He is so nice, but like he has just a great sword in one hand pointing at the lady. It's like, yep, that's just Mumford. Replace that with the Frostburn axe of Kalel, and you're good.
Panel redraw. That actually might be fun. Might. Drawing an axe, though.
It does.
Oh yeah, I remember this scene.
It does everything so well. But yeah, if like to Bree's point of you don't really see the past of the world. I think they're trying to encourage making that past. Like, make if you want, make Jenna an NPC. Fuck it, make her a playable character, and see what happens. See where she goes. See what causes her to become a Fairlady.
Ooh.
And
that's good to allow you to be creative at least.
And honestly, if it was done any way else, like if a writer that didn't care about it, or if a writer that didn't try did it, I would honestly say screw off. But the way it's done in this world, it's done so well.
Well, good.
Yay.
And I love that we can take, like, 40 minutes to talk about Fairlady. Without feeling horrible.
And I haven't read it, so that's quite the feat.
Yeah, and you know what, Gray? This is my attempt to get you into Fairlady.
Can you put, okay, future Dylan, hey future Dylan, this is your friend Gray. Please put the clip of SpongeBob. It's like, I think someone's trying to sell me something somewhere in the video. Because that's what just happened in my brain.
Future Dylan is flipping you off.
Is the present Dylan flipping me off?
No, present Dylan's not doing stuff.
Oh, okay.
Future Dylan, as he's listening to this, is flipping you off.
Okay, cool.
So
I finished Fairlady, but also before this thing started, I also went ahead and read Stranger Things and Dungeons and Dragons issue number 1.
Wait. Before we do that, we do still have to give Fairlady a rating on how well it adapts D&D into a comic.
Oh, okay. We're doing ratings.
We did this last time. We did
5 fair ladies out of 5 fair ladies.
We did this last episode, Brie.
I know. We're doing it every episode, though. All that was like a thing you just wanted to do because you were like, this book we're reading right now is pretty sci-fi. So I want to just test to see how much you think is D&D.
No. We'll do this for each book just because I think it's a fun concept. I'm a little too biased to give it a 10 out of 10 just because it's amazing writing. It allows anybody who wants to pick it up and kind of and it does the thing of Stan Lee saying of every comic book could be someone's first. So every issue is a one and done story. I love it, but it also does world building really well, and it does allow the reader to create more from it. So it's a 10 out of 10 for me.
Cool. So we're basically just grading it on how close is D&D?
Yes.
Well, I feel like we just went on a tirade about how D&D and how this could work and how it could like make it more creative than D&D. I think just based on that, I think you just have to give it a 5 out of 10.
All right.
Because it is very D&D.
And Gray gives it 5 Fairladies out of 5 Fairladies.
It's a perfect rating system.
All right. So you know what? I'm gonna give for the last 10 minutes of the show. Bree, talk about the Stranger Things comic. Every time an issue comes out, though, you're gonna have to talk about it.
Yeah, I know.
Legally.
I've already accepted this. It's only 4 issues though. So.
3, 2, 1, go. I haven't read any of this.
Okay, so this is basically like a book about Dustin the gang. They basically go to like this book over. He has like all these like old like little miniature sets, and they basically go in. And he's like, oh yeah, we got like all these war miniatures and stuff. And everything, and like looking around, and they find like, oh wait, is this one of your miniatures that we were wanting? No, wait, this can't be right. And they pull out like a little dragon miniature for it. And he's like, hey, that's mine. He just takes it. So basically, this book is basically them basically discovering D&D. It's very much a love letter to D&D itself. There's this really great sequence in the book, where they go to school at one point. Well, they're playing at school, and after playing, they actually go and start giving like all the friend groups like different D&D. Which is one thing that made me laugh when y'all were talking about it. Cause one they just like that guys are barbarian, or like is he does this little click? Those guys are trolls.
Wonderful.
Hey, Greg, I just sent the issue for you to look at the pretty pictures.
Oh, pretty pictures. Yay! I can't
Great!
I feel like all my things are going to be pretty pictures.
Great! Before he goes on, I feel like we've established on stream that you can't read.
What?
Wait, say that again?
I think we've established on stream that you can't read.
Oh. Well, another audience needs to know that I can't read. I'm on here because I was lured by a trail of carrots into a box held up by a stick.
Carrots? Wait. We got the carrots. I thought I salmon. Did you go into the wrong box, Gray?
Who's am I in the wrong box?
I'm pretty sure I got salmon. To just go with the bear theme.
That gets grizzly bears. I think I'm more of a polar bear because I can't stand the heat.
I want to point out polar bears also get salmon because it's ice fishing.
They do get salmon, but their main diet is more like otters, seals.
Okay.
Seals, not otters.
How am I going to get seal meat?
I don't know, Mr. I've eaten rabbit and also bear before. You tell me.
No comment.
Use your chef romancy.
Chef romancy.
Okay, guys, we need to make a new class now.
That's it. It's chef romancy.
My class.
Okay, am I gonna need to make this class?
I mean, homebrew is a thing.
It is a thing.
It's a healer class.
It's a healer class, of course. But if you know any chefs, they are the assholes of assholes. Like. Wow, healing does things for chef. I mean, like, what are you gonna do without any food? I mean,
Hey, you got chef on your party?
Exactly.
No,
Who are they gonna cook for if the party is dead?
No, we got a cleric in our
Maybe
party.
they'll have an ability like lay on hands where like they can hit you over the head with like a ladle or whatever focus is.
My focus is the chef's knife. Oh my god, I'm gonna have to make this class. I'm going to make this class.
Yeah, like basically, okay, here's the ability. You hit your dumbass party member over the head with your focus and it heals them. It's called tough love.
Unfortunately, we do not have time for brief rant about Stranger Dragons. Brief, final thoughts on Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, it's a really fun book. It's great art. It does a lot of D&D references, and yeah, it's very technical.
I'm guessing,
but the story hasn't really started.
I'm guessing since like 1984, it's gotta be like first edition. Because it can't be 5e. Because that came out fairly recently, as I have learned.
Yeah.
Did you guys know that 5 came out in 2011?
Really?
Yeah. You remember when Adventure Zone was starting? That's
I wasn't there. I was 11.
Yeah, but like when Adventure Zone was starting, they were starting with the basic rules of 5e.
Oh.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Right? Anyway.
I was like, wait, can't they do this? And I was like, oh, okay.
Thank you
for
joining us for another Comics and Dragons. Like, subscribe, comment, do whatever it takes to get the algorithm to look at us. Just look at us. Don't.
Please.
Don't make us famous. Look at us for like more than 30 seconds. And
they'll let me out of the box if you do.
No promises. You went to the wrong box.
So I can get out of this box?
Yes.
Okay, future Dylan, please add in sounds of someone throwing a box scuttling away.
Again, Dylan is flipping you off. You think Future Dylan knows a lot about editing? Future Dylan knows fuck all.
Can you see in future? You don't know what Future Dylan's doing.
Actually, I do. Like I said, Future Dylan flipping you off.
Oh, insane.
It's like you didn't hear me. Anyways, we will see you next time, maybe without Greg. No. On Comics and Dragons. Peace.
Peace.
Oh.